All right, gang, we're back for Chapter 3. Here we're talking about marketing environmental factors and corporate social responsibility. These are two big topics. I don't have a ton of slides for you here. I've got about 7 slides for Chapter 3 and just these two key topics that you want to understand. So you can look in the textbook for more definitions on each of these. And you can also, again, go to the AMA Marketing Dictionary, American Marketing Association Dictionary website and look up terms there. So let's dive in. Let's go to the second slide beyond the title slide, at the slide after the slide that shows all the books stacked on the first slide. Key terms, marketing environmental factors. So read through this. Marketing environmental factors has nothing to do with the environment, nothing to do with global warming or sustainability or rising sea levels. Marketing environmental factors is what's out there that's going to impact my business and my marketing efforts down the line in the next, say, 2 to 5 years. And I gave you the example here of Blockbuster, so read through that example on this slide. And the categories under marketing environment factors include economic, technological, political, legal, and social cultural. So when we look at each of these, what we mean by economic, what's happening in the economy down the line that might impact my current marketing strategies. For example, right now interest rates are very low in the economy. A lot of people are buying homes because they can borrow money pretty cheaply. But if you are a home lender and you are concerned that interest rates might be going up, that's going to impact your ability to do home loans. Maybe start shifting your product offering away more from home loans into some other type of loans. Maybe you are Louis Vuitton, the very upscale brand that sells, handbags and other expensive, primarily women's accessories. And maybe there's a recession going on in the United States, like there was several years back. You're going to have a hard time selling luxury brands when there's an economic downturn in a given market. So if you're Louis Vuitton and you see that coming, you can't keep selling the same old products the same old way when there's an economic factor impacting that market. Maybe you need to leave the US and start selling in other markets that are experiencing success, like China, for example. Or maybe you start coming out with more value-oriented products. Bottom line is you have to have a pulse on where the economy is and where it's going, and you have to adjust your sales accordingly. The next category is technological, and technological stuff can happen like that. So it can quickly render a company out of business. And the Blockbuster example that I provided you here is an example of that. So if you're not aware of what's going on with technological changes, current and upcoming changes, it might render your business obsolete. Think, for example, about fax machines. I'm always surprised when somebody still asks me to fax something. My usual response is, really? You want me to fax it to you? Why don't I just tape it to a carrier pigeon and have the carrier pigeon fly it to you, and you'll get it in a week? Because I'd rather just email it to you or send it to you as a DocuSign or a digital file. There's so many newer ways to do this. You gotta be kidding me. Fax? So fax machines are probably something that we'll see die, and certainly in our lifetime. And they have a few places where they're still needed, but not much of a need. If you're a fax machine, if you're Epson and you make a lot of fax machines, you need to be looking at this technological factor and hopefully have alternative plans to get out of that product category. Technological factors. Third, political legal. Politics and legal go together because politicians, Congress, House of Reps, the Senate, they make laws that impact business oftentimes. For example, you used to be able, way back when cell phones first came out, you could drive around with a handheld cell phone and talk on it. And obviously they found out that that was a safety issue, and the government started passing laws prohibiting the use of handheld cell phones. And if you're driving your car, you cannot have that cell phone in your hand or even be visibly operating it. It should be on a Bluetooth. So if you're a cell phone manufacturer and you're not aware of this new law that's coming out or pending, you're going to be making products that maybe you can't sell anymore because people are expecting Bluetooth technology on their phones to operate them in their car legally. In the old days, you used to not need to have a passport to cross the border and go down into Tijuana. And now you have to. So what if you're a bar down in Tijuana and you don't know about this upcoming law that's going to impact your business? So political legal factors can definitely impact your business, and it's why there's so many lobbyists out there on Capitol Hill. Businesses pay big bucks, big businesses pay big bucks to big lobbyists to speak on their behalf to key congressmen to hopefully pass legislation that supports your business and avoid legislation that does not. The political legal environment. And then lastly, social cultural. Social cultural is what's happening in society that might impact your business. Think, for example, what's happening nowadays. There's more two-income families, more parents are working, meaning there's an opportunity for more daycare industry. There's a lot of aging baby boomers who are starting to retire. That provides opportunities in whole new industries like retirement products, group travel. So you need to have a pulse on what's going on with social cultural issues. Our society is getting more diverse. So bottom line, when we talk about marketing environment factors, these horizon issues, things that are out there, as a marketer, you have to have a pulse on these things. Companies turn to marketers to get answers to questions like, what's going on with the competition? Where should we be from a technological standpoint with these products? Are there any concerns from an economic standpoint with us launching this new product? So marketers tend to have to be a little bit more well-read. They have to have a pulse on competitors. They have to have a pulse on what's going on with these marketing environmental factors. Now, the slides that follow this show other things like the resources of the company and competitors, and those are true too. But really, these main four, economic, technological, political, legal, and social cultural, are what's happening outside of the company that you need to stay apprised of. All right, so that's your key term number one, marketing environmental factors. Know how they're different. There's a couple of slides that ask you like some quizzy types questions on those. I'm going to advance forward. Go past all the checking your knowledge slides. And you want to get to corporate social responsibility. So corporate social responsibility is talking about, and my slide isn't showing here, so I'm going to have to go off memory, but there's two slides there on corporate social responsibility. Corporate social responsibility, or CSR programs, as they're more commonly referred to, are basically a company doing good works, being socially responsible. It's not just about, oh, they've got nice products and fair prices. That's not really corporate social responsibility. Corporate social responsibility is how eco-groovy is your company. That would be one category. Like, do you have sustainable products and sustainable practices? Like Starbucks has fair trade coffee. We know that it's grown in an ethical way that supports the farmers who grow that coffee. It's Starbucks, again, who takes care of their employees by offering free health care to anybody who works 20 hours a week or more at Starbucks. It's Starbucks who also offers free college tuition to all of its full-time employees. Other companies like Patagonia offer free surf lessons and on-site child care at the corporate offices. So it tends to be how a company treats its employees, how a company takes care of its customers through sustainable, responsible products. And it's also how the company interfaces with the community in which it does business. Starbucks does a lot of donations to local communities. When I worked at Petco, we gave a lot of money to animal welfare groups and allowed those agencies to come in and adopt out shelter pets. So those are kind of the three main buckets of corporate social responsibility: taking care of your employees, the eco-grooviness of your products and your operations, and the good works that you do in the communities in which you do business. That's kind of the broad strokes of corporate social responsibility. Now, the last slide there under corporate social responsibility talks about the pros and cons of corporate social responsibility. And what we're saying here is CSR programs aren't for every business. If you're kind of invisible, you're a manufacturer that makes a component part, maybe batteries that go into laptops, and nobody's really aware of your products, then CSR programs probably don't make sense. CSR programs have some drawbacks. They're expensive. They make your products more expensive, or they reduce your profits because it's expensive to have these programs and maintain them. They are hard to stop once you start them because people expect them. Starbucks employees would be very upset if they found out that healthcare was taken away from them. They kind of expect those things to stay put. And they don't make everybody happy. So investors may not like your CSR programs. Like, hey, you're a business. You're supposed to make a profit. You're not just a nonprofit that's about giving it all away and doing all this good stuff. You need to make money. Or some people may not like some of the CSR offerings that you have. Maybe you work at Patagonia and they have on-site childcare, which they do, but you don't like kids. And or you're not, you're a kidless couple, and you kind of resent the fact that many of the employees there who have families, have their little kids running around in the office, and they get to visit them on their break. Like, man, I'd rather have our benefits package go to some other things than taking care of these snotty kids, right? So you don't make everybody happy with your CSR programs. However, there are benefits to CSR programs. You get more loyal employees. They feel good about working at your company because you're taking care of them. Oftentimes you get more loyal customers. They feel good about buying your products because you know that you're doing it in a sustainable way. Now, it's a double-edged sword when the economy's down and things get expensive. If your eco-groovy sustainable products are more expensive and there's cheaper offerings, you might be priced out of the market. So it can make for more loyal employees, but not necessarily, only if they care about those sustainable products. That's the main thing. So they're hard to stop, they're expensive, and they don't make everybody happy. So, but more loyal employees, definitely, more loyal customers, potentially. And then third, the third benefit is it gives you something to talk about from a public relations standpoint. You have, hey, we're doing all this positive stuff as a company, all these CSR activities. You're more likely to get media coverage about those activities. Okay, so check those slides. It gives you some links to CSR Hub, which is a site that tracks companies. And if you can't find that definition in the book, again, you can go to the American Marketing Association Dictionary, and you can look up the term there. Thanks for listening.